Ellie and I'm Stitching Bee here on Flosstube and also over on Instagram. Welcome to my channel all about cross stitch, crafty bargains and bees. Today I have another little Flosstube extra for you, which I hope you'll enjoy. I'm actually at home at the moment in the Midlands. I'm a bit shiny because it's very hot. It's kind of around 30 degrees most of the days I've been here. So I just thought, as it's a little bit cooler in the mornings, I'd film a quick video showing you all my previous stitches that I've completed for my parents, as well as some of the paintings I've done and some of the antique samplers and pieces that we've kind of collected as a family over the years from antique fairs and inherited and that kind of thing. So I thought, as I've got quite a few new subscribers, which I'm really grateful for, it would be quite nice to start at the beginning of where I began cross-stitching and work chronologically, so you can see how my stitching has progressed. So we're going to start at the beginning, back in June 2010, and I scoured the house and this was the earliest cross-stitch piece I could find. It's a lovely little Mouseloft kit of an owl, which I stitched for my dad as a birthday card. Isn't he cute? And I bought this from Hobbycraft originally, but they stopped selling the Mouseloft kits, which was a real shame. But I believe you can still get it on the Mouseloft website or on the secondhand market on eBay if you're interested. And you can see there's lots of lovely back stitch there. It's really cute. Sorry the lighting's not so good here, it's kind of blurring out the fabric, but you get the gist of what the design looks like. And yeah, I finished it just with a little aperture frame and popped it in a little card. So that's piece number one. Piece number two, I don't actually have an exact date, but I think it will have been around the same time frame because this is when I really got into cross stitch again. So if anyone remembers Groovy Chick, this is a piece that I stitched from a kit, I believe, for my sister, saying Little Star. And I remember really enjoying this because it was kind of quite block kind of stitching. You see I've carried some of my threads there. This is obviously stitched on Ada. And I remember really enjoying it because it was basically like colouring in. And I love doing that black outline as well. And obviously just framed it in a nice little frame we've got from the charity shop. So I won't know all the details of all these projects because obviously some of them are quite old, but I'm sure this was definitely a kit. I don't know if you can still get it, but yeah, it was many happy memories stitching this piece for my sister. Right, the next piece I have is from 2011, and this was a gift for my mum for her 50th birthday. And I think I used maybe Jane Greenoff's book. It was one of those kind of little cross-stitch books where you could, you know, pick the borders and the little motifs and make your own design. So this was when I thought I was designing, even though obviously I was using the designs from the book. But I really enjoyed picking out all the things that I thought she'd like, with the flowers and the garden related things, a wheelbarrow, the strawberries, the butterflies. Again, I remember finding this really fun to stitch, and I love doing that border as well. And that's really, really cute. Again, stitched on Ada, and then I think I used some kind of metallic thread for the happy birthday, just to make it a little bit special. And then my dad framed this in this lovely wooden frame. So that still hangs up in our utility room. So yeah, it's nice to come home and see all the pieces that I've stitched from years gone by. So I meant to say I would have been 12 when I started that piece in 2010. So yeah, as you can see, I've been cross-stitching for quite a while, and I think I had even stitched prior to that, but I don't have any pieces to show from those years. But yeah, I've basically started back then and then had a break when I went to university, and then I've rekindled my stitchy bug back in 2020. So these are all the older pieces, and then we will move to 2020 where I began my stitching journey again, all because of Caterpillar Cross Stitch and their Positivity Rules Sal, which I discovered on Facebook, and since then I was absolutely hooked. So we'll jump forward to 2020 now. So first of all, in 2020, I discovered Oven, which is, I believe, a Russian designer who does kits. And I think this is called Bullfinches and something. I'll write it down below because I can't remember the full name. But I really, really was drawn to this with the gorgeous deep red and oranges used in those bullfinches. Sorry about the glare, it has got glass on it. I think it was bullfinches and blackberries or blueberries or something like that, because I remember stitching the I think they are blackberries. They're really intricate with the fractional stitches and the amount of colours that are in them, but they do have a really good kind of three-dimensional effect. So I'll have to stand back a little bit further to get all of this in. There you go. So this sits in the living room at the moment, and again was framed by my dad. He doesn't like making frames, but I keep making pieces that he then frames. So yeah, I thought this complements it beautifully. Obviously stitched on Ada, I presume 14 count, and I stitched this back in June of 2020, and I think I did it again as a present for my dad. So that one's really lovely. I really do like admiring that when I come home. And then I also did another piece for my mum, but that was the next year, so I'll show you that in a minute. A little bit of Christmas stitching. It's kind of falling to pieces already. I did show this on my Instagram when I first started this. I've just pulled the back off. But this is one of those little kind of leggy cards that I got from a magazine. I think it was the World of Cross Stitching magazine, which I stitched on perforated paper or the plastic canvas. It's one of the two. And I really love stitching these. I did quite a few of them, and then you just use the kind of cording for the legs, and obviously you can see them dangle. The foot's actually fallen off, so I need to glue that back on. But at the time I just used double-sided tape. I probably would finish them in a nicer way now. I just put card on the back with a little hanger. But my mum still loves this, so has it up all year round, even though it's not Christmas time. But yeah, I made quite a few of these, so you can go back on my Instagram right back to the beginning and see the snowman and the, oh, I can't remember the other ones. It was another reindeer I did as well, I think. There was a whole collection of them, so if you're interested you can go back and have a look. I think it was possibly issue 300 of the World of Cross Stitching magazine, but if I'm wrong again I'll correct myself in the description box. So yeah, he's really cute. So that was 2020 as well. And then we fast forward to 2021. So this was a piece that I stitched for my mum, which is also, I think this is an anchor kit. Again, can't remember the name of it, but it's got those gorgeous poppies and the lovely, if they're daisies or something a little bit different. And look at that amazing dragonfly and the butterfly, and that amazing butterfly as well. I was just really drawn to the colours with this. And the kind of little back stitch details, really nice. And the bee, and the ladybird, and this toadstool. Oh my god, I love the toadstool. So fun to stitch, especially those back stitch lines underneath. See how it really makes it three-dimensional. I absolutely love stitching this. So again, I'll bring it back so you can see the full effect of it. Again, framed by my dad, so they match. Really cute. So that was finished in 2021. This is a wedding sampler that I stitched for my mum and dad. I've just covered their names and when they got married, just so I'm not revealing everything on the internet. But I stitched this for their 25-year wedding anniversary. And this is a pattern from Jannlyn, I think. Again, I can't remember the name of it. I'll link it down below. This piece I did get professionally framed. Gave my dad a bit of a break from all the framing, and oh my god, this took me forever. Look at all the back stitch detail in this, so much. This was one of my first pieces on even weave. I think it was just 28 count, but I loved the kind of honeycomb effect there with the bees, and the fact that, I mean, my parents love gardening, so this kind of cottage garden idea with the tiles, paving slabs, and all these kind of little borders with fruit and flowers in them. And all these are French knots, which I actually didn't mind doing. Sorry if you can hear all that noise, it's my dad doing some gardening. And then you can see the strawberries there as well. Look at them. Really cute. And more of the bees at the back there. So that's that one. And that sits proudly in the kitchen. Next we're going to move on to 2022. This was a piece that I stitched for my sister. This is a Bothy Threads kit called Swimming School, I think it's called. And I stitched this on a Tom and Lily Creations hand-dyed fabric, which I ordered from France. And I love the depth of colour in it, and I think it really makes the little turtles pop. And you can see obviously you've got the main turtle and then the little baby ones. So this was my first time stitching on linen. And I really love the effect it gives. And I just got this frame from the range, I believe, and I finished it myself. So this again was one of the first pieces that I actually fully finished in that way. So that sits in her bedroom. Then we move on to 2023. This was when I started branching out with my fully finishing. So this was for the King's coronation that I stitched this. And it was a pattern that I purchased from Etsy. Again, I'll link it down below if I can find it. And I just love the simplicity of this with all the two colours that were used, and then obviously stitched on a white even weave, I think it was. I didn't quite finish this on time, but I finished it a couple of months later. And then I got this chopping board from Asda, I think, and then laced the piece and then glued it in. And I feel like that finishes it off nicely. And then my dad put a little hanger on the back so it can hang on the wall now. It was bigger than I anticipated. I didn't want a huge piece, but you know, it's fun to stitch. Nice and easy with the block colours, and obviously represents all the different nations there. So yeah, that was that one from 2023. Also from 2023, I have these little baubles that I made. Again, these were stitched from a magazine, little nativity scenes, and I fully finished them into the little baubles that you purchase from, I think it was the Works I got them from, you know, like the kind of photo baubles. And at one point I will do a tutorial on how to make these, but I just used a bit of backing fabric with stars on that I thought complemented it nicely. But they are teeny tiny. I think I stitched them 1 over 1. And then the fabric you can just see on the back there as well. And then the other one I've got is another nativity one, which is really sweet. 3 kings. So for Christmas they come out together, and just in these little bauble stands which just sit nicely and then allow the bauble to hang. Now we move on to 2024, and this was a Pako kit which I purchased a while ago. And it is the swallows just sitting on the line. This is a kind of key thing that we mention when the swallows come back after the winter between my family. So it was really nice to stitch this for them. And I got this professionally, well, I bought the frame from Picture Frames Express, and I finished it myself, but I really love the effect this gives with the kind of double mount and the colours that I picked that correlate with the colours of the swallows there. So I absolutely love the fully finish of this, and it was quite a quick stitch really, it didn't take me too long. And I did change the back stitch a little because it was quite kind of 90s back stitch, very blocky, but I just kind of made it a bit smoother, and I really like the effect of it. Sorry, the sun's starting to come out now, so it's washing out even more, but yeah, hopefully you can still appreciate that. So we're going to move on to another piece that you probably have seen. This I stitched for my sister, and is a pattern I purchased from Etsy, and I stitched it with a DMC variegated thread, so it has all the lovely purples and blues in it. And I just made it into a drum, and this was the first drum I ever made. And you can see it just shows all the London skyline. And then I used a lovely kind of Liberty fabric for the top and for the bottom, and then a Hobbycraft lace around the edge, and then a lovely kind of 21st Century Yarns chenille trim to finish it off. So it was a labour of love. I was kind of over it after a while. There's a lot of stitching in this, but I really loved the effect of it, and she really liked it as well. And I think it was stitched on maybe a lavender or something like that, that kind of subtle kind of colour of Swigart fabric. And now we are back to 2025. I'll just whiz through these because you've obviously seen them recently, but for anyone that's new that hasn't, this is my little strawberry mouse, which I got from Tiny Modernist as PDF, and stitched it for my mum because she loves making jam. So I used Von and Fife's tutorial, made it into a flat fold with this fabulous gingham fabric that makes it look like a picnic blanket or something, and I used the YouTube tutorial of how to make the lovely bow, and then made my own cording as well using Vonna's tutorial. But look at the little mouse. I just stitched it with DMC threads. But I really love the little cake as well, and my mum is well known for making amazing cakes, so I thought this was perfect for her. So that sits proudly in the kitchen. And then last but not least, just for kind of completeness, this piece you will have seen in my last video, but I've just gifted this to my dad for his birthday and he really liked it. I think he's going to add an additional kind of oak frame around the edge just to make it pop even more, because there is obviously quite a lot of purple in this frame, and yeah, he just wanted the frame to be a little bit bigger, and then he's going to pop it on the wall. So this is Tree of Life by Mill Hill, and you'll have seen me talk about it in previous videos, so I won't go through it all again. But I'm just about to edit and upload the tutorial for this, so hopefully I'll post it either before or after, and you can go and watch that and learn how to make this. Yeah, and you can transfer the skills to other projects that you might want to fully finish in this kind of similar way. Right, so I hope you enjoyed seeing all the projects that I've stitched my parents and my sister over the years. I'm gonna go and get all the antique pieces I've got now, and then at the end I'll show you all my paintings that I've done, so stay tuned for that. So this next piece, I don't exactly know when it was stitched, but my nan stitched it on my mum's side, and when she passed away it wasn't quite finished, and mum wanted it to be fully finished so it could go on the wall, so I happily finished it was just the bottom piece that needed to be done, so I finished the stitching on it, and it was nice that we could kind of both be involved in the process of making it. And then my dad framed it, and here is the finished piece. So it's one of those that's printed, it just had the little crosses on the fabric, and then you just kind of filled it in. I have no idea where it's from, but it's a lovely little cat looking out the window, and then it's got all kind of kitchen related items around the edge. And see, I just finished the bottom part somewhere, and yeah, it sits proudly in the kitchen now. This next piece is a real treasure. Again, it was a piece that we've inherited in our family, and is a lovely antique sampler. My dad thinks it's probably from around 1890, and unfortunately it hasn't got any other details on it, so we're just kind of guessing on, you know, who's given it to us in the family and the likelihood of what age they'd be when they stitched it. But it's just a very simple kind of marking sampler with the alphabet and the numbers, and I just really love this. It's only small, but it's very special. It sits in my bedroom when I come home. Next, I'm going to show you the pieces that my mum has bought from antique fairs over the years, and a lot of them are actually all from the same lady, so it's quite nice to see her range of stitches as well. Both my mum and I love kind of cottage gardens, and you know, as a family we all love gardening anyway, but she's really drawn to the kind of bright colours. So this is embroidery, and isn't it absolutely beautiful? So you can see all the lovely flowers in the flower bed there with the lovely path and the house, and then all the kind of lazy daisy stitches for the tree there, little birdhouse as well. So yeah, these are just displayed throughout the house, so I've just kind of collected them to show them off to you because I think they're really gorgeous. One is this lady in a lovely crinoline dress, these gorgeous blossom trees either side of her. This one is dated 1936, I believe, yeah. And that's so pretty. Again, embroidery. I don't know if it's satin stitch, maybe in the dress. It's just done so beautifully. Really lovely to have these. Then we have another one that is by a different stitcher. This is from 1934, and it says, "Dear house, you were really very small, just big enough for love, that's all." And that sits in my mum and dad's bedroom. Again, probably stitched on a linen, but a really gorgeous antique sampler piece that we have in our collection. Then this piece is actually a cross stitch, again a lovely lady in a crinoline dress, and this is by the same lady as the second one, from 1936, and it's just a lovely depiction of a lady watering the garden with this gorgeous flower border around the edge. And it says, "So kind, acts and memories, gardens will smell sweet." That's beautiful as well. And the last one we have is also stitched by Dorothy from 1936, and it's this gorgeous house at the top with the birds in the middle, this lovely vase of flowers and the kind of flowers either side, and then the two little people at the bottom. So fabulous. So it's really nice to have all of these around the house as well, and I'm always on the lookout for kind of antique cross stitch. You don't see it that often, or pieces that are kind of my style, but I do think these are really beautiful. It's lovely having them on display. So now I'm just going to quickly show you some of the paintings I've done. Not a huge amount, but when I was doing my art GCSE back in kind of 2013, 2014, I was really into painting and did quite a few pieces. I mainly had to do an art board for the GCSE project, but I really wanted to try different things, so I even painted quite a few different things for my family as well, so I'll just quickly show you those. So the first one I have to show you, don't know exact date on this, but this is obviously from Tangled, Rapunzel from Tangled, and the little chameleon as well. I keep saying Stitch. I painted this for my sister, and I just used acrylic paint, so I'm just a normal, is it paper or canvas, and then just got a frame, I believe from the range. Just really cute. That's the first one. Next we have a little acorn piece that I painted with the leaves. This is when I was 14, back in January of 2013. So yeah, it's a piece for my dad as well. Next we have my first and only ever watercolour piece that I did. I was just kind of trying out the watercolours to see the effects of them, and I did this kind of winter scene. I quite liked it with the kind of flow of the track, as almost like people have driven through the snow. And yeah, this was just a quick one that I just wanted to see what watercolours were like, and realised that I wasn't that keen on them. So yeah, the one and only piece that will be made with watercolours by me. But this hangs in our living room. So I quite like the colours in that very kind of wintry scene. Then last but not least, we have this owl that I painted for my dad. Again, I think I just copied a photo. It's not from, real life or anything like that. But yeah, I remember really enjoying the detail in this, like just dabbing the paint to get the kind of feathered effect. His piercing yellow eyes, big strong beak as well, and just kind of very basic green border around it to kind of really show it off. And I think, again, this was a frame that my dad made that we now have it on display in the kitchen. I did actually paint another piece which was for my fiance's parents, and it was a photo of their cat that I copied the picture and painted. So that is sitting in their house, and I'll include a picture of it in here if I have one. And since then, I've not really painted since. I've done the odd kind of ornament and things like that, but 2013 and 2014 was my big kind of painting era, and then I found cross stitch again, and I've not looked back since. So I would like to do a bit more painting, but I always just think, oh, there's cross stitch to do, so I haven't got time to paint as well. It's a shame there's never enough hours in the day for all the hobbies that we want to complete. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing all my stitching over the years, the antique pieces that I've shown you, and some of the paintings that I've done about 10-15 years ago. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. Feel free to like, comment and subscribe. Follow along for more kind of normal Flosstube videos and Flosstube extras, as well as tutorials. I'm also hoping to do some stash dive videos when I get the time. So yeah, there'll be lots more to share on my channel, and I'm really grateful for anyone that has joined me along the way, and of course my pre-existing subscribers. It's really lovely to see you back every week. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Take care, happy stitching, bye!